Live from the Icebox Studio in Montgomeryville, Pennsylvania, it's the Bill and Corey Show. I'm Bill.
And I'm Corey.
Welcome back. Of course, we got the YouTube live chat set up, so if you got a question, type it in there, and hopefully we'll get to it. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be a lot of graphics this week. It's going to be like our second episode when we had almost a year ago that had the frozen screens. So, the screen's not frozen. We just have graphics up there.
About that.
So
it's early on.
This is one we got. The first question is on some cylinder valve identification, and they sent some nice photos. So and it was really, what is this valve? But first we'll show the first photo. That's the regulator they have there. They labeled it CGA 280 because that's what it is.
And they called it a valve, not a regulator.
Oh, did they call it a valve?
Well, they asked,
no. That's the second thing about that.
Oh,
okay. And looking at the nut, yes, it does look like a CGA 280. And they said it said that their mix is a CO2 oxygen mix. So you want to put up the next photo so you see that the thread's different on this one, obviously. So this is the valve they sent us and say, hey, what is this valve? And you look at it, it kind of looks like a CGA 580 valve because it has internal threads and stuff, but knowing it's a CO2 oxygen mix, I took out my CGA V1. I kind of knew what it was anyway, just confirmed it. So you want to put up the third graphic? And this shows a CJ 296 valve next to a CJ 580. The CJ 580 is a little tarnished.
Just a bit.
That's what we've had for a while. But you can kind of see that the internal hole is small. I'm just showing the red line, showing that it's thicker.
You get that English oil on that thing.
Oh, yes. So it's not a 580. It's too small to be a 580. And I'll kind of go off the graphics and go to the screen.
I would like to add that I think it's crazy not every cylinder is stamped with the CGA.
Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, so this is what they had on their cylinder, and this is probably the CGA that goes into their. I'm sorry. This is what they had on the regulator. This is actually. You want to zoom in? Okay. So this is probably what the valve is. It's a 296. You can see it's smaller than a 580. The nipple's close to the same. It's still a bullet nose nipple.
So when they were talking about valves, were they talking about the CGA fitting?
No, they're talking about the valve in the second photo.
Oh, okay.
So you want to put on the next photo?
Talking about the cylinder valve itself.
There
we go. This is what I was talking
about.
So
that's our CGA 580 valve. And a lot of times you can look on the valve and it'll be stamped. So that's one of the places you can find it right there. It's a CGA 580, so that's a CGA 580 valve.
Ignore the letters below.
I don't know what
ignore the letters.
I don't know what the letter belows are for. I didn't put them there. So let's go to the next photo. Or it could be, this is a newer valve. You can see it's shinier, and this is CGA fine binding. You had me be one in our mass flow area,
wow. So
it can be stamped up there. So
you can tell the other one was done by hand, and this one wasn't.
Yeah. This is. I don't know. It's a little.
It was a good hand stamp in there.
Yeah, it's pretty good on that. So yeah, and then of course you can always call up your gas supplier. Hopefully you can call up your gas supplier.
Yeah,
and give you.
That's the thing, and that's always the question. And I get a lot of questions about CGA fittings, and it's always like you got to go to your supplier. I could take a guess, but ask your supplier, whoever supplied the cylinder. Yeah,
so it's an important thing to know when you have a cylinder and you got a regulator, and it's CO2 oxygen, so it can be used for both 296 or 280.
Really?
So
So that's where it gets complicated. The mixes get complicated.
Yeah, well, there's some other gases too that get complicated. But yeah, you check on the valve. Like ammonia is typically, it could be a 660 or 705. There's other ones, so it's just, yeah. So that's enough for that question. And the second question is oops, I have the wrong tube in my rotameter. How do I fix it?
This is a rotameter.
That's a rotameter.
And so inside the rotameter is a tube cube. This is white thing. We did not remember the tools to tear it apart, but we will refer you to an awesome video on our website.
But you can swap this out.
But you can swap this out.
It's easily just a little screw on top.
So obviously you order the tube cube, you put the new tube cube in, everything's all right, right? No, not exactly. So one thing is we have a few different sizes of valves.
Yes, we have just good. We'll go with that.
We'll go
A few different sizes of valves, and there's two styles.
There's two styles, HA and
HA is for high accuracy.
high
The
accuracy.
other one's
And
utility
this is
valve.
regular. Okay, utility, regular.
Utility valve.
And so the problem is these valves might not flow the same as the tube you just put in. So you have to check the valve that you have in your rotameter as well in order to make sure it can flow enough to actually, because if this valve can only flow up to 50, but you want it to be 120, that's the valve needs to be changed.
Yeah, you want to put up graphic 6. We got, this is for an FM 1000. This is on the product page, an online store. And you can see there, tube J10, if you have the J10 that you want to put into your, this is for FM 1000 direct reading scale. Then you need to have, if you have a utility valve, it'll be an 8 or an HA valve 4. And they're typically, the numbers are on the knob. We'll show you that a little bit.
And luckily for this customer, they had the right valve in there in already.
Yeah. So you can see it changes for utilities. You know, it's got the 7, 8, 9, and HA valve has, you know, the 2 to 6 on this. You want to go to the next slide? We also have it on the FM 1050s, which is the big rotometer
ones
we just showed you. That has, yeah, the same little chart there. It's got a lot more information on there. But it's you can see the tube number and utility valve and HA valve, so you can get whatever size properly for your tube.
I use this chart too when I when I make up new BLMs.
Yeah, and then so that's that. Oh, and we got how to find the videos. You want to talk about this? Let's put up the next slide.
Number 8.
Number 8. Okay.
And so this is the front page. Well, not the front page. It's the FM 1050, but that top bar is on every one of the pages, and the rotometer guy's there in the help center. So click on one of those, and it will tell you lots of things you need to know about.
You want to go to the
all
next
the products.
Slide 9. Next slide. Okay, this is the help center. So if you're looking for, this is for to help find YouTube videos and stuff. So.
Yes, yeah, and even some shameless promotion on our own show, right above the YouTube thing. You know,
I think that's very important. We have that up there.
And so you click on any of these. They're all clickable pictures, and it'll take you to the knowledge about those subjects.
Yeah, this is our help center. So you can go back. You can go to the rotometer guide, or you can go straight to the YouTube channel. You want to go to the next slide? And this is our rotometer guide right here. And that has just tons of information on there. We put the rotometer selection guide first because that's probably most what people are looking for.
Yeah, because rotometers can be.
But if you scroll, you can't scroll because we just have a graphic. But if you're on the page and scroll all down near the bottom, you're gonna have a collection of videos on different how to swap out tube cubes, how to swap out valves.
And I hope our viewers right now would have our YouTube page as well subscribed on their.
They really should be subscribed. Yeah, and then you get notified of new videos.
Yes,
there's going to be some new ones coming up soon. And then also you can look at next slide 11. This is our YouTube channel. It's a Matheson Specialty Gas Equipment Tech Support. That's a lot to type in, but if you get a few of those words in there, you'll probably direct you to this.
There aren't a lot of Matheson YouTube pages, so I think.
Oh, there's some guy who does barbecue or something like that. Matty Matheson. That's not him. If you see Matty Matheson, you can watch his videos, but if you want tech support.
Who names their kid Matt when your last name's Matheson?
Oh, don't worry. I know a guy who names their kid Corey when their last name's Pitchler.
Well, I mean, it
doesn't.
It's I don't know. Hold on, I got a great one. I got a great dad name joke.
Okay, go ahead.
His kid was born in the car on the way to the hospital, so guess what he called him?
A car?
Carson.
Carson. Okay. That is awful. Okay, next slide, please. And on our YouTube channel, we've got you could do different playlists. So you got regulators, rotometers, switchovers. We've got a few other ones there, but that's the top 3. So if you're coming in here and you're looking for rotometers, if you go play, you could play all. You do a little binge watch on rotometers. You know, instead of watching
The Big Bang Theory, whatever.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah. Yes. So that's where you can find stuff. It's a great place, and yes, please subscribe to that. Okay, now we're going to go. And okay, now go back to the screen. Anyways, this is the rotometer, and it's got the numbers of the valves are right on that little sticker.
Mm-hmm.
If the sticker comes off, hey, good luck.
Sticker comes up, you can write whatever number you want. No.
Yeah, just well, you can check to see if you can get the flow or not.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, you could.
the next one we hit, it's an odd. I don't want to get into the whole total question, but something came up about what's a manometer. So I
Not to
didn't
be
know
confused
Okay, Greek.
with a thermometer.
A manometer. It comes from Greek monos, which is thin, or really, I guess, kind of small, and then metron, which is instrument or a measuring thing. Now, the manometer was invented in 1661. The Dutch physicist and astronomer.
For some reason, he was dabbling in chemistry. I don't get it.
Christian, I think there's 2 A's there. I think I misspelled that one. Huygens, I don't know if I pronounced it right. You want to pop up the next slide? Christian, there you go. We should have had this for our
Honestly,
Halloween
why did
show.
this style go away?
I don't know. That's, but that could be your...
I imagine that wig
that could
would
be your
expensive,
Halloween
though.
costume.
I imagine that wig could be expensive.
I
though.
know. So he's got a lot of
That
money.
is-
There's a lot of
that is luscious.
scientists that discover stuff, had a lot of money, didn't actually have to work for a
Well,
living.
that's why they were able to discover things.
Yeah. So he invented the YouTube, not YouTube. He invented YouTube.
Whoa!
Okay, you want to go to the main camera? So, so I used.
Man ahead of his time.
So this is he didn't have plastic tubing back
to
then.
be clear, it's just U, the
U,
letter U.
this is
I want to
U.
make sure you guys
This
aren't
is
mixed
U.
up at home. It's the letter U,
That's
not
the
Y.
letter U. So I had to, yeah, you can.
Which in 15 years, YouTube's gonna be like, we got to shorten our name, like the YMCA. The YMCA did that. It was too long.
So it's just a piece of plastic tubing. I'm sure he had probably glass. Had some guy make a little U-bend in glass. Guys,
He had not
what the
invented
heck are you
plastic
doing
yet.
yet?
Christian
So
had not invented plastic
I had
yet.
actually, I'll take this. I only had this in here to show you what I'm going to do. But it would be the manometer. You'd have both ends open and it tells you differences in pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Coke Zero, but it's because you can see it better than water.
Any liquid will work pretty well.
Well, but it tells you the difference between pressure. So if you can do the measuring here, I guess. So this is for low pressure applications, typically in exhaust, no, not yet.
Okay.
It's typically like exhaust systems or something, because this will measure inches of water, and it takes.
That's where that comes from.
27 inches of water for a PSI. So so this is really good for low pressure stuff. Like I said, you can do this for like $1 from the hardware store, and then water's pretty much free unless you're in California. So I'm going to show you, put a little vacuum on it. Oh, sorry. It really didn't show too well.
Yeah,
But you see, forget about measuring. I guess that's not working. But the difference between that
The inches between those two is how much
the suction pressure.
is the suction pressure.
So, and then, so that's that's an easy way of doing it. And you can buy manometers too.
What came first, the PSI or the water column? I actually don't know that. Because I'm wondering why he chose 27 inches of water column as 1 PSI, if that's...
No, that's not how they did things.
Okay.
I don't know how they came up with the units. That might be another show.
Okay, all right. It's just, units, they just don't...
Yeah, but he got kind of the idea from the manometer from... who did he get it from? It was a modification of Torricelli's barometer. We're going to show that because I think it's kind of funny. They thought it was probably great back then. You want the next photo? Don't do this at home. So Torricelli took mercury, which is not a nice thing to have, and put it in a glass tube.
Yet every guy over the age of 60 tells me how they used to play with it as a kid.
And then you put it in a dish of mercury, and you have, because mercury is really, really heavy. That's why it's good to have. So it's 760 millimeters of mercury is your standard atmospheric pressure. So you can measure
barometers.
So this is a barometer, right? So we got the idea for the manometer from the barometer. So you have atmospheric pressure pushing down, and there's the vacuum obviously on top, and then that height of mercury is the atmospheric pressure. No, that's it. Back to here. And Huygens also invented. He was. You can call him the grandfather of the grandfather clock because he invented a pendulum clock.
Yeah, isn't that?
Which the big guy for understanding the physics of a pendulum was Galileo Galilei, who obviously was not very mechanically inclined, or he would have invented the clock first. But that was, so that was about that same. They're both 1600 guys. Yeah. So yeah. So I guess no typed in questions this week. No, sorry. Now I got a good way to get people to watch live.
Uh-oh.
There's a rumor that we're going to get Taylor Swift as a live guest on the show.
Oh, is there?
So that's, you know, it's just a rumor.
And Travis Kelce might come with her.
Nah. So that's the good thing about you tune in live. Maybe you'll see Taylor Swift.
Because we'll cut her out on the video that we show.
We'll edit it.
We're editing her out.
Cut her out. So tune in live next week at 10 a.m. for another episode of the Bill and Corey and maybe Taylor Show.
Set your VCRs.